Well, shalom again, everybody. Today I was awakened by three adorable children, and they was out selling chocolate. And man, I detest this time of year coming up, this All Hallows Eve, this Halloween, where parents will have their children dressed up as harlots and prostitutes and murderers, and even the devil herself they'll have them dressed up as, knocking on people's door wanting poisons in their bags to take home and to kill themselves with. And you know, it's horrible, but they woke me up, and I mean, I was on my bed just kind of finding a way to be comfortable a little bit because I didn't want to get up and greet this day. But a whack, whack, whack on the door, and I get up and I run out there thinking it might have been the mailman, and there's these three children. And they asked me, "Sir, would you like to buy some chocolate?" And I said, "Oh, no, thanks." I says, "I appreciate you asking." I said, "But, I don't eat that kind of chocolate." And one of the little girls looks at me and says, "Sir, do you know why old people don't eat chocolate?" And at first I was thinking, that most of the old people here, they even got signs up not to solicit and things of that sort. But I was wanting to tell them that old people are most likely on a very tight budget and can't afford those kind of luxuries. But, instead I gave them the spiel. I said, well, I says, I says, when you get older, and sometimes when you're young, you start researching things, I said. And I said, the chocolate that you have there, I said, you think it might be really great. And our parents and the people that make it want you to think it's really great. I said, but us older people, us wiser people, we know that they're putting poisons into our food, I said. And, I says, when you eat these things and a lot of regular food like your Doritos and such, store-bought pizzas and everything that your mom don't make herself, it actually will cause you not to be able to have babies when you get older. And they put it there to try to kill us. And of course, her eyes got real big and said, "Really?" I says, "Yeah." I said, "You should research it yourself." I said, "But, that for the most part is why some old people like me don't eat these foods." I said, now the food themselves isn't bad. It's what they put into them that they put there, and they're evil people doing this to our food. Well, they thanked me and off they ran, knock on somebody else's door. So I really need to back this up and explain why us old people, us wise people, won't eat these foods. So I did a little research here, and this is on World's Finest Chocolate. We fund communities. And it was tough to find this page, but these are the candy bars I believe they was selling. Anyway, down here underneath the picture, it talks about nutritional information. And it says, at World's Finest Chocolate, we believe that chocolate can be part of a healthy lifestyle if eaten in moderation and paired with a regular exercise routine. And then they got promoting active lifestyles. Now, when I read things like this, my mind sees things differently than most people's does, and that's why I bring out these videos to help those that are seeking to keep their holy temples as pure as possible, showing our King that we love him by keeping his laws and commandments, and we no longer eat the unholy and profane things or the unclean things. And that's the duty of 144,000, as I've said many times, is to teach the difference between the holy and profane, and to teach you how to, discern between the clean and the unclean things. But anyway, promoting active lifestyles. Didn't say healthy, okay, but it will. It says, for many years, World's Finest Chocolate fundraisers have helped provide healthy lifestyle opportunities by raising funds for sports and fitness programs, and that sounds great, but the problem is, it's like our government. they have many programs and they raise funds, for the CIA through taxes and such that, the CIA, the no such agency, the NSA, the FBI, and all these other governmental agencies that, produce poppies in other countries that we took over their lands and crops and such by sending our soldiers over to do these wars with them. Even got to where we spend tax dollars on bombs and such to bomb the poppy fields and laboratories that, the Bushes have owned, and the Clintons and Obama and these others that people have elected to put in there, these drug dealers and arms dealers and such. And we are part of their fundraisers to be able to poison America with the drugs and things of this sort, with death by war. Excuse me. Even in Saudi Arabia, it's not that we're giving Saudi Arabia these missiles to protect the oil fields, which were planned. Yes, they were planned by the world leaders, by this beast, to blow it up to its, what they call false flags and such. Did you know there were 2 other oil fields that also had explosions? I believe one was in Mexico, and I'm thinking one in Australia, but I'm not sure. But there were 3 major oil refineries that actually have had some devastation done to them within, a week's time. And few know that even one of the only 2 laboratories on the earth today, which is kind of scary. And I hope you get your bodies in tune with what our king desires, or you'll have no protection at all. But the facility in Russia caught on fire that houses the smallpox, the Black Plague, Ebola, and a bunch of other biological weapons that they have been producing and nurturing, hoping to use on mankind. Well, it caught fire, and the emergency crew went out there to start putting it out, but they were not aware that there was a cylinder that blew up that housed the smallpox and other things as well. So they may have been contaminated, and they didn't bother telling them for a while. They come to hear about it by the time they put the fire out, but by then it's already too late. So Deuteronomy 28 may be opening up as we speak. But anyway, I want to show you the ingredients here as to why a true believer should not be eating some of these chocolates that are out there. And I do eat chocolate. This here is black cocoa powder that I get from the Amish, and there's nothing in there that defiles. I also use things of this sort. These are little chocolate bars that I'll go ahead and put a slice of butter on and honey after I warm it up a little so I don't bust my teeth. But in here it's just got chocolate. That's all it is. That's the only ingredient that it has in here. And I don't know if you could see that or not, but it says chocolate. And it's 100%. I don't use the 98 for the most part, because a lot of times they'll put what it's got in here sometimes. But anyway, in the almond bars, the ingredients is milk chocolate. Then in parentheses, to tell you what's in the milk chocolate, it's got sugar. Now, it doesn't have GMO free on the bars. This sugar, most likely, because it's sold by children and so cute and they want to poison everybody, it most likely comes from GMO beets. Then it's got whole milk powder, cocoa butter, unsweetened chocolate, and then you got the soy lecithin there. They use it for an emulsifier. And then vanillin, artificial flavor. Now, I want to bring out, I'm just going to say that the sugar in most cases, if it's not non-GMO or organic sugar, it's going to be most likely beet sugar from GMO beets. Your soy lecithin, the emulsifier, is also going to be GMO soybeans. Okay, so that's you're going to find in a lot of things. So I don't need to get into that too much because I've already asked you to watch Genetic Roulette. If you watch Genetic Roulette, you'll understand that you should not be eating GMOs. Self-explanatory, but I'll probably use sugar and artificial vanillin. Because here you got in your other milk chocolate bars, it's got milk chocolate, same thing. Sugar, got cocoa butter, soy lecithin, vanillin, artificial flavor. Your caramel, it's got the soy lecithin, the vanillin, and then they got, of course, corn syrups and all kinds of other nasty things. Corn syrup comes from GMO corn unless it's marked organic or non-GMO. And then, of course, you keep going down, you see the same things in these other bars. Vanillin, artificial flavor. You got the sugar, soybeans. You got the soy lecithin, dark chocolate. You got the sugar. You got the soy lecithin. You got the vanillin, artificial flavor. Okay, so I wasn't lying to these little creations of our Heavenly Father that came to the door trying to sell me these poisons. But I told them the truth in a way that I hope that they'll go and tell their teacher and say, hey, you should have seen this guy, man. He told us we can't even have children after we eat too much of this stuff, you know. Forget gaining weight and everything, but he said we won't be able to even have children. And that's through a lot of research. So what I wanted to concentrate a little on was this imitation versus real vanilla. Scientists explain how baking affects flavor. Sometimes the real thing isn't any more effective than artificial, and here's why. And this is from HuffPost.com, and you can look that up yourself, but you have to go down here a ways before it gets to the most interesting part. And it says, when is imitation vanilla just as good an option as the real thing? It says, of all the complex flavor compounds in a vanilla bean, okay, vanilla beans are great. And when it's extracted with alcohol, that's fine. You know, there's nothing wrong with pure vanilla. It's very delicious. Maybe somebody might have an allergy, but it's really great for you and it tastes delicious. But of all the complex flavor compounds in a vanilla bean, the most prominent is known as vanillin. Vanillin is responsible for the sweet, marshmallowy flavor that we associate with soft serve vanilla ice cream. I used to love it. I'm going to show you why this is profane, why this is unholy, why this is unclean. And it's Russian roulette. Okay, basically, when you see it on a package, if you eat it, it's a Russian roulette. Whether it comes from, like it says, imitation vanilla is a form of pure synthetic vanillin, manufactured from a number of sources. Now, if you get the wood pulp, that's pretty cool. That ain't too bad about that. Coal tar can be beneficial as well. In the clove oil, you know, clove is great for you. If you got a toothache or something, you can put some clove oil on there and it will numb it. But then it says, and the anal glands of beavers. We're talking beaver asses. And they pull out the rectum there, you know, and they grind it up and they put it in your food to taste wonderful, to make this imitation vanilla from. You know, so I wasn't lying to those children. It's something that I hope that you're aware of now. Vanilla, when it's artificial, or vanillin, when it's, you know, when it's vanillin or artificial flavoring, vanillin, you're most likely going to be sucking on the anal glands of beavers. So with that, my friends, you know, I know it's disgusting. I know it's a horrible world that we're living in. And I tell you what, I'm not looking forward to Halloween night living in this apartment building, because I know I'm going to have to tell a lot of parents that they're trying to kill and murder their children by doing the things our Heavenly Father tells them not to do. When you dress up and these costumes of even Satan the devil or zombies and things of this sort that our Heavenly Father detests, our Creator, told us not to do these things. He told us not to be prostitutes and such. So to dress up as a prostitute or, some whorish nurse or maid or whatever, these things are in your heart. And like our King said, if you commit adultery in your heart, then you have committed adultery. So when you dress up and you go through the effort to dress up as something that our Heavenly Father hates, you are it. Whether you do the acts or not, it doesn't matter. You're still the damn harlot or the devil or whatever it is that you're dressing up as. That's what's in your heart. And I can't let these people, if they knock on my door, go away not knowing the truth. So hopefully after I tell one or two of them, they'll start spreading the message between each other and leave me alone on those days. I don't like the devil knocking on my door. The children today, bless their hearts, I prayed for them after they left because they don't realize what they're doing, and neither do most people when they're serving you these poisons and when they're poisoning us. It's from the top, the damn reptilians. They know what they're doing to us. And if mankind actually knew what they was doing to our food, I don't think they would do it. But because it's a world that's basically run by reptilians right now, Satan the devil, our king, when he was up on the precipice, and she said, hey, just fall down and worship at my feet, and I'll give you all the kingdoms of this world. Yahshua didn't say you don't own it, Satan. She does. And she's been in control of it for 2,000 years. Actually longer than that, because our king acknowledged. Even Uremia, he let us know that they was calling on the name of Baal. They forgot our father's name for Baal. Thousands of years Satan's been in control, and our English language is so defiled. I mean, everything is defiled. It says so in Isaiah 24. I ask that you read Isaiah 24, and I ask that you read Deuteronomy 28. Go right there right now and read it, and you're going to see what's coming on us, because people are sucking on the anal glands of beavers and all of these other things that defile. The earth is defiled, and soon it's got to be burned. First time was a flood, but this time it's going to take a burning to get rid of all these poisons and toxins that the chemtrails have put down on our heads, all the poisons and toxins in the food supply, and even in the Frankenstein foods where they create their own pesticides and such to kill you off and to sterilize your children. But it's all part of the Agenda 21, believe it or don't. Please read Deuteronomy 28. You'll see with what's going to come on, even the curses, and the diseases that we've never heard of before. The ice caps are melting. They're finding that there are these viruses and bacteria and germs and such that have been frozen for what they want to say millions of years, but it's only been thousands. And they are still alive, just frozen. And they're going to be released. They're already being released. So your best form of defense is to get these holy temples cleaned out, my friends. Please consider, the colon cleanses and such. And please start reading everything before you put it in your body. If someone offers you something, just thank them for it. Tell them you're not hungry. You don't have to make a big project out of it. But if they really want you to eat it, say, well, let me look at the ingredients. And explain to them why you won't eat it. And with that, my friends, I love you. And may this day be one of the best days of your upcoming life, because it's going to get worse from here on out. Shalom.